Hey, welcome back to the Pitching Lab Pitchcast, the science of baseball without all the scientific stuff. So you can take your velo and your launch angles and all that and go away with it. We're just going to talk baseball today. I am on with one of my favorite guys that I've worked with, Kyle MacKay from St. Joseph's College of Maine. He's a pitcher up there. Kyle, welcome and thank you. Appreciate you being on.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit. Now, I got to work with you a little bit. So I got to know what a good guy you are. I got to know you are from Drake, Massachusetts. I have family down that way, Rowley. We're not quite as fancy, but same area. But give us a little background on your baseball background and your journey, what led you up to St. Joseph's.
So I was playing high school baseball, and I always, my whole life, wanted to play in college. So I got an invitation to go to the Lynn Invitational Prospect Camp during COVID, and went there. I pitched well there, and I got to talk to Coach Lincoln afterwards and talked with him, and he said that they wanted to see more of me, invited me to prospect camp. When they invited me to prospect camp, I decided to kind of look into the school more, and once I looked into the school, I kind of decided hey, I like this place. I really hope they offer me. And then, once they offered me, just took it on spot, and
okay.
Here I am.
It's going to be a cool prospect camp. I went through it this year up at St. Joseph's here, represented today with my monks. I wore the blue, a little more flattering on me. But I went to prospect camp as a coach. What's that like as a player? Because I know these guys coming in, there was a lot of nerves. You're basically auditioning in front of the existing team. For you, what was that? Did you feel any kind of pressure at prospect camp, or did you kind of feel like, hey, they wanted to see me? I'm kind of coming in and I'm the one they want to see. They're not doing me any favors. I'm kind of coming in and I belong here.
It was a little bit of both. So obviously there's those nerves because it's you're pitching in front of a college coach and you're going in front of all these college guys who they want you to come to the team only if you do well.
Yeah.
So my thought was I'm just going to try to go out there and do what I know I can do. So it's kind of no pressure. But it's also if I do what I know I can do, then we're fine. And that's what I did that day and ended up at St. Joe's. So,
yeah, I think that's an interesting thing, too, for younger players who may not know what prospect camp is. You literally are invited up by the school and kind of play a day with the team, do some drills. Pitchers pitch bullpens, which again must have been fairly daunting because you see these guys, some of them juniors in high school, getting ready to go into their senior year and pitching in front of the existing staff. So it was pretty interesting to see. And I thought to myself, I'd hate to be the guy who came up, roomed with these guys, because you stay with players. Do you remember who you stayed with when you came up?
I was during COVID, so we weren't allowed to do any of that.
That must have been terrible.
Kind of thing. Yeah, it was a weird experience doing all that recruiting stuff through COVID.
That defeats the purpose of an on-campus visit. You're supposed to be able to live it up and whatnot and get to, But I've always thought it would stink to come up and room with guys and get to meet them. And then you play the next day and they're like, yeah, we're good. We don't need you anymore. So at least you made it. That's excellent. So let me ask you this, on the current roster, if you could have picked who you would have roomed with during prospect camp, give me 2 or 3 guys that you would have wanted in hindsight to be involved with.
Definitely Victor Kyra's up there.
Yep.
I definitely put him on my list.
Yeah, Big Vic energy. I love him.
Mike Richards.
The Iceman, yeah, he's sick today. I'm hearing tough reviews out of Standish. The Iceman is down and sick. That would be a good crew right there. I could see that.
Yeah, those two, that would be an electric room.
I enjoy both those guys.
Florida room right there.
Yeah, I feel like there'd just be a lot of video games, but I don't think anyone would leave the room.
Mike's a big video games guy. We were talking.
I think Vic is too. I think Vic's an NCAA guy on PS5.
He is, yeah, but that's about it though. He doesn't play much. He's he's more of just a chiller.
He's a former high school quarterback. If you don't believe me, just ask him. Him and Wieners had the college quarterback showdown. It was great stuff. Well, that's very cool. I'm glad you ended up there. It's a great school, and also, obviously a Hall of Fame baseball coach there in Will Sanborn, but also a great academic school. Now, you were already nursing major up there, correct?
Yes.
That has got to be something. You can't kind of casually go through that. I can't imagine. I feel like nursing is one of those majors. You're either great at it or you go and do something different. I don't think you can be an okay nurse. I think that would be very dangerous. So clearly a lot of academic work involved in that. How are you able to balance the two? Because I know just from being up there a short time, the baseball commitment up there is pretty intense. You're expected to be at a lot of things on the field quite a bit, or at least involved in activities with the team quite a lot of the time. How are you able to balance that with the academics at a school that is really kind of an academic institution?
So yeah, Coach Sanborn is great working with me with the academic side. You know, he's always saying we are students before we are athletes, and being an athlete is a privilege. So he's always worked with me very, very good. It's improper grammar, but
that's all right. Hey, nursing on English. That's all right.
He's always been great working with me with like when I have a clinical or I have to study for an exam or anything like that. He's always worked with me, and it's been great working with him and being able to have him as a coach who understands that, you know, I'm playing D3 baseball at the moment. I'm probably not getting drafted by the Red Sox tomorrow. So like, this is going to be my future, is going into nursing.
Okay.
So him working with me with that was one of the biggest things that drew me into St. Joe's, because that was one of the key points he told me when I was getting recruited by him was, we are students before we're athletes, and that he's going to push me to my very best with, you know, just making sure we go to classes, maintaining a certain GPA, just always pushing us to be our best.
Yeah. And I have heard him. I'm glad you said that, because I've heard him say that. And that's one of those cool things that I kind of stolen and use as students first and then athletes. And a lot of times it gets said but not executed. And I can vouch from just being up there. It is student first. I remember first day of practice being out there. One of the first things he said to the team was, if you have a class, like, that's the priority. You don't skip class to come to practice. You know, so I think that one of the great things about Coach Sanborn is, it sounds like what you were told during the recruiting process sticks. He walks the walk. What was that recruiting process like for you in coming up here? Obviously, did you know coming in that's the major you were looking at? Like, were you looking for schools that offered that, or is that something you kind of came to once you had already seen the school?
So yeah, I definitely knew I wanted to go into nursing before the baseball aspect of it. It was actually kind of funny. I talked with a couple colleges before I talked with Coach Sanborn, and they were telling me to change my major.
Really?
And
to be able to commit more time to the sport?
Yeah. They were telling me, oh, if you come play for me, then you can't be a nursing major. And I told them, well, I'm not going to come play for you then.
Yeah. And you made a great point, because you are an excellent, I've watched you, I've worked with you, you're an excellent pitcher. I think as a young athlete, and you must have been, during COVID, were you 17, 18 when you graduated high school?
Yeah.
That's a tough age to be able to look at and go, okay, these next 4 years of baseball, this might be the end of the road for it, might not, but there's a good chance if I'm at this school, maybe I won't get seen, maybe I won't get scouted as much as I would if I gave up this major and maybe made the jump up somewhere else. That's a very mature decision for a young person to make. How were you able to do that and look at that and also be realistic with yourself that, hey, I love this sport. I've played it, I imagine, since you're probably, 4, 5, 6 years old, but these next 4 years might be it for me. I need to look past that. Was that a tough thing to do? And who kind of helped you in being able to figure that out and make that type of decision?
So a big key in it was my dad. My dad's always been my coach, my biggest fan. So he's always been the one that is pushing me to do better and be my best. So talking with him, I kind of laid out how I felt about playing college baseball, where it was, I want to go to a school that is good for nursing. That was my first key. And if I can play baseball while I'm there, that's just a bonus. So going through all these recruiting visits with all these other schools, and I hated all of them. It was either I didn't like the nursing program, I didn't like something about everything just didn't feel right until I had to talk with Coach Sanborn, and then, coming up here for the first time for that prospect camp. Yeah. And it was just like driving into campus, and it was just like, yeah, I can see myself, like, this is my home kind of thing. It was kind of like love at first sight.
It's a beautiful campus. It is kind of a lover. You pull up to that field and go, oh my God, like I could see myself here. I'll tell you this. I love what you said and the process you went through and the family involvement in making such an informed decision. I think it's great because it sets you up for 4 years of success instead of getting 2 years in and going, I've made a mistake. I want to do this instead. I want to do that instead. I will say this. I'll tell one embarrassing story about being on the campus for the first time. I had to come up to just sign paperwork. I don't think we were even practicing that day. I think I was just coming up and doing my paperwork. But I was really excited, and coach said, we're excited to have you. And I knew there weren't classes. So I knew campus was essentially empty. I was excited to have a chance to look around, but I was scheduled to go up there. So I go up and go to turn in. Folks that have been up, there's this beautiful long entranceway. And on either side, there's like blue and white balloons, and there's like pep rally people and cheerleading, and they're clapping and cheering when I pull it. I'm like, these guys, they know how to treat their coaches. Like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good about it. As a bullpen coach, they pulled out, the big guns for me. It was student move-in day. Did not know that. I pulled out and I'm smiling hard. I rolled my window down. She's like, you moving in today? I was like, nope, just do it. And I realized like, I'm going to just turn left and be quiet. So I was very full of myself. I was very excited. I got this out of it. That's what I got. No fanfare, just a shirt. But yeah, and then my other humbling moment when I was up there was at prospect camp. I didn't have any of the warm, and I showed up and my jersey was hanging in the dugout with the players like I was going to participate. So I don't know if they were expecting me like I thought they were expecting me up there. But no, that's excellent. And it's good to hear athletes talk about kind of the afterlife of the athletics part. I think people look at it and think, well, this is going to go on forever. My son went through that with football. And one of the most proud moments, and I've had a ton of proud moments with him, but one of the things I was most proud of is as he wrapped up his football career as a dad, I don't think I was as level-headed as your dad. I'm going, well, maybe the CFL, maybe the AFL, maybe like, I know the NFL's out, but maybe you could do it. And I remember him telling me, and it stuck with me, even though as a dad, you kind of go, all right, and saying, this is where the playing ends. I know these next levels is not where it's at for me. This is where it ends. And I'm going to go into this different direction. I went into coaching, and it obviously has become pretty successful with it. But as a dad, I'm impressed by your dad's ability to be able to go, hey, let's kind of look at this realistically and see where's a good fit for you. So it's great. And it ended up being great. And are you done this year, or you have another year after this?
I'm done after this year. I got
really? Okay.
Technically, I got another redshirt year because of my injury last year, but not going to use it. I'm going to hop on into the workforce and start making me some money because I am broke.
Go do it somewhere warm. I don't understand. Don't stay up there. Standish is great. I got fooled. I got up there. I came in fall, going, this drive's beautiful. Oh my God, look at the lake. And then I came up there in January. I was like, no, I don't know about this. It's terrible. Cold up here. So that's awesome. I'll ask you this before we go. We talked a little bit of baseball. We talked a little bit of academics. What's a day away from the field like for you? Outside of the academic stuff, obviously classes and whatnot, but what's a day in the life like for you up there at St. Joseph's?
So it's kind of weird to say, but like we don't really do like too much when we're off or like out of class. We usually hang out as a group. Like I know the guys that live upstairs, we're usually all hanging out together. So we'll just like kind of just hang out. We like playing Wii golf. That's been our thing recently. So we've been playing a lot of Wii golf, and there'll be like 10 of us just hanging out. We'll play some Wii golf, just listen to music, relax, just take the time to relax.
I'm concerned about this. I have to ask because you brought up Wii golf. Is BCAF involved with that? Because I feel like anytime there's golf, he's around and he's always trying to bet. Is that happening on Wii golf? So
BCAF I haven't played against BCAF yet, but it's Luke Warren is the issue. Luke Warren is too good at this game. He's got to relax. He's got to go touch some grass.
Those Connecticut guys take their golf very seriously. I feel like Hugh Barrett is a very serious golfer.
He's got the spin down. He can put it anywhere he wants. I've seen him get like 4 hole-in-ones in the last week. Like he's got to relax. We're just trying to play for fun, and this guy's just hustling us.
Jeez. Well, at least you know what, and I like that group sticks together. It's so important, and I feel like one of the big parts of college athletics, I mean, you're probably meeting guys that even after school, these are guys that the friendships will carry forward for years. So that's a very cool thing that you're able to meet and kind of hang out and not just rush through it. It's very cool. And I feel like with St. Joseph's, with that program, you guys do a ton of stuff together, non-baseball stuff. There are scheduled activities. There's always something going on when you're around these guys. So I feel like it's important to have a good fit and to like who you're around. So I'm glad that worked out. But, well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you jumping on. I miss being up there and seeing you guys. So it's at least good to see a familiar face. I'm glad it's going well up there. And look forward to checking you out during the season. Look forward to following the squad, and good luck in the future with nursing. It sounds like you're on the right track with it. I really appreciate you jumping on and talking with me.
No problem, Coach. Anytime you want me, just shoot me a text.
Sounds good, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon.